This was a battle that came up in co-op mode. It was a AI slightly outnumbering me. Alright, so army's all set up here. Let's pause it for a moment. I had the archers deploy screens, which actually helped out a lot. I got all my spears forming a spear wall along this line, with a few bows skirmishing in front. My right was in the open, so I had bows out in the open with screens, with spears up and back up, and a few spears units in reserve, which turned out to be pretty handy. And the samurai were back here, but they were just reserves. So anyway, and we see the Takeda army coming in. We got the mostly a spear army. This is just a campaign, so there's nothing. This is kind of early in the campaign, so nothing really elite or anything. They have some light cav. This wasn't the main force. If it was just this army, I wouldn't be too concerned, but there was also the Hojo army coming in reinforcing. And they had a lot of spears, quite a few bows, and one unit of samurai, and of course their general. So I had to defeat this army first, quickly, before their reinforcements could move up. I'm not exactly sure why the AI is always so aggressive sometimes. If they just waited, they probably would have crushed me. But the Takeda wanted to try and get me out of the way quickly, I guess. So unfortunately I have this hill in the way, and they would be coming down the hill. But the screens that have been deployed in front of my bows here, since I was on the defensive, did kind of break up their charge, so it kind of worked out anyway. They're just starting to come into bow range now, so my guys start firing. And this unit took quite a few casualties before they actually hit the line. The general, sorry, that's the light cav, katana cavalry. So the screens helped out a lot there. Broke up the charge. They didn't get quite as fast as they wanted to, and they got mangled by Yari Ashigaru and Spear Wall. It's probably not the wisest idea to have charged in there. Meanwhile, so my archers have pulled back. They're in skirmish mode, so that's normal. And all these guys were in the forest, so they may have been hidden from the Takeda, but now, of course, they're beginning to engage. Light cav are chasing after my archers, yeah, but I wasn't paying attention at the time. I think I was looking over here. So basically the whole Takeda army has just tried to do a straight rush, frontally charge me. It's probably not the smartest idea since I actually outnumbered them. It's mainly their reinforcements, the Hojo reinforcements, that I'm concerned about. So these Shigaru are getting mangled. Although I am taking some casualties, so it's not going all my way. These guys are being mangled. And that's really the strength of Ashigaru. So their cavalry actually caught my bows out. But actually my bows are starting to sort of holding out a bit, and they've held their own a little bit. Okay, now the Takeda army is starting to break. This is the strength of Spear Wall, really. Any frontal charge on the Spear Wall is going to get mangled. Although a lot of my Ashigaru units, my spear units, are taken quite a beating. Like these guys have lost over half their men. So these bows are getting mangled up by this light cav unit. The light cavs are pretty well screwed as well, so that worked out okay. I'm rushing this spear unit over to try and take out their general before they finish off my bows. They probably wouldn't actually kill all of them, but in the campaign I kind of want to try and reduce the casualties, and the spear unit's in good condition, so I want to try and finish off all the Takeda before the Hojo arrive, since they're still marching over there. So aside from the casualties that have been inflicted in my front line, my army's still in good shape. Of course, some of these casualties are rather severe. This unit's they're still holding on, but you know. So these bows are still running around. Probably should have just told them to stay put, but it's kind of busy at the time. Moving the bows back in, reorganizing my army. I just told these guys to turn around and kill the general. Fortunately, the general's on a horse, so he can run around. The light cav are well and truly screwed. Even the general is not in good shape. Now the Takeda didn't last long after this battle. They lost their last province not long afterwards. So, but the Hojo, this was their fairly strong field army. After this army was defeated, they didn't really last long either. So I've moved all my dudes back up. My bows are back up behind the screens. I didn't really bother moving my bows up behind these screens. I'm just using these screens to break up any infantry charges or cavalry charges, but I don't think the Hojo had many cav. Or any cav actually, except the general. So these guys have been running around, they're kind of tired, but they're in really good shape. They've only lost 4 men. The bows have been pretty well screwed up though. And here comes the Hojo army. These guys are accidentally rushed out. I'll be moving them back. So most of my bows are actually slightly behind my line now. So I'll be shooting over the heads. Now, that works out okay for me because as they come down this hill, they have the high ground, so my guys better safely shoot over the heads of my spears, for the most part. Interesting thing happened here is the Hojo army sort of, rather than just rush in, they sort of just stopped for a moment, let my bows pepper them. Since I had an advantage in bows, I think that probably worked it to my advantage. Not sure why the AI does things like that sometimes. This was on very hard, so sometimes I guess they just make some dumb moves. And unluckily for their samurai, they took 40 casualties, just the bows firing at them. And of course, they tried to charge the bows, but luckily there's a screen in the way, so they didn't get quite. They still got there, but they weren't able to inflict many casualties on the bow unit. And I had a Ashigari unit and spear wall right here. So all I really had to do was pull the bows back, and they would have been caught. Interestingly, they charged a bow unit in. Not exactly sure why they did that either. Anyway, so they've started to charge all their units in. Accidentally had these guys rush out for some reason. And all their troops are pretty much going for my right flank. These screens really came in handy because they funneled all the dudes, all the Hojo troops into particular lanes, and they made them more predictable. So these guys, for example, they could only come through here, this lane, and I had a Yari unit and spear wall. Generals charge my bows. So this flank was probably my weaker flank. I had less troops here, and it was mostly bows. So this unit in spear wall is mangling that enemy spear unit. It's around this time I started to bring up the samurai, since I had them in reserve. I also started to move some of my spear units from this side, which are unengaged, or they weren't necessary on this side, and I started to move them over. At this point, I wasn't quite sure about that, but I had this unit. They've been running around chasing the general. They're in good condition. They're a bit tired, but the numbers were enough, so I started charging. This unit was already mangled, but I wanted to finish them off quicker. Get my guys over this way. So this unit over here managed to hold off. And see, this unit tried to get through, but because the screens were in the way, they ended up charging this unit. So around this point I had my general move over here to rally the troops over this side. And I brought over some of our more reserves from the back line to charge into the back of these guys. See, these guys got mangled. Just way outnumbered. But that's okay, because they really made a mess of all those Hojo troops. And yeah, it was even some Yari samurai, so they did a pretty good job before they all died. So again, just there's no point holding this line, so I started releasing these troops from spear wall, and just got them to charge into the Hojo troops that were still out there. There are a lot of bow troops here, just causing casualties. And finally ran in my samurai. Probably should run them in a little earlier. Although I wanted to try and preserve this unit, because they'd taken losses earlier in the campaign. This guy's just routed. But this samurai unit had taken losses earlier in the campaign, so I wanted to try and preserve their strength. Since at this point in the campaign, it's hard to get hold of quality samurai troops. So there's been quite a fight here, a lot of corpses. And really it's just running all my troops in to fight their bows, which are... that's all that's left of them.
My lord, a glorious victory will soon be yours.
And that's that. And they're all routing. So unfortunately I took a lot of losses, but I did manage to defeat an army that was a bit larger than mine. It was about 1/3 larger than mine. So that worked out pretty well for me. And it didn't take too long to get the army back up in shape again, because this is all Ashigaru, cheap Ashigaru troops, so they're not painful to lose. I lost 3 units of Ashigaru, Yari Ashigaru, in this battle. So that's that.